Welcome back to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Rain on Your Parade for the Nintendo Switch. An arcade-like adventure game, you'll control a cloud and just cause all manner of mayhem, but is this one style over substance or should it earn a spot in your library? Well, hit subscribe if you love the Switch. As much as we all do here, join our growing family and let's get started. It's a story on the backbone of this one. It's essentially a bedtime story that one grandfather tells to his grandchild, a story of a young cloud on an adventure to Seattle. Now you're going to be following this adventure though, and you'll basically fill in the blanks and just learn about all the mischief one cloud can get up to. It's basic, understandably given the concept, but it is still a fun ride and there's some great humour in here. A whole lot of pop culture references as well, my favourite being an office moment, and then the story, I gotta say, it will appeal to any age group thanks to it balancing kind of family friendly while still having more than a few like adult nods that will kind of go over kids' heads. Really enjoyed it though, the cast was great and it gave this adventure some kind of meaning behind the destruction. So gameplay, and there's actually quite a bit more to this one than I initially expected. You're starting out this game, it's simplistic enough, you're going to move your cloud around what are single screen locations and basically rain on the humans you find. Progress the game though and abilities unlock, and that's relatively quickly as well. Soon though, not only will you have the power to like rain in your arsenal, but you'll have things like lightning, snow and tornadoes as well. You can even find different forms of rain too, whether that's ire, which can create some nasty fires if you combine it with your lightning, to acid, which can corrode, let's say, vehicles as a simple example. Now as you progress then as well, the once single screen levels, they quickly grow in size and you'll be scouring these locations, figuring out how to overcome the game's many objectives. These objectives though nearly always involve, raining on or simply terrorizing the humans within these maps, but they also constantly mix things up thanks to additional objectives. Some they must be completed to progress the game, others are completely optional. These objectives though, they do award stars for each level, so that leads to a decent amount of, replayability for the game, especially for those completionists out there that want to, let's say, 5-star every level. With 50 stages though, and then, a ton of objectives to face, including some bonus levels you don't even need to complete, I can see a lot of reasons why after that first playthrough I will now be going back, and that first playthrough still took a decent 2.5 hours with a lot of levels I didn't even touch. There's still plenty of objectives to complete as well. Plus on completion of the game you even unlock New Game Plus, which ups the challenge, adding even more objectives. Plus you can turn on the sun. The sun is kind of like your nemesis obviously, and you can't hit him on the screen. It's not a particularly tough game though. In fact, I only failed once and that's the only level I had to replay, but I will say the constant change still kept me hooked throughout. And while occasionally there's a level that doesn't work, for example there's one that has you filling a shopping trolley using the tornado ability, items just kept getting stuck and it was more frustrating than anything. Also a tower defense one, that's the only moment I failed. It's still, for 95% of the playthrough, the content lands and it delivers this constantly evolving experience with just enough creativity that it stands out from the crowd, even paying its respects to kings of the genre, think like Donut County and Katamari. Two particular highlights though, a level dedicated to Metal Gear Solid, something I really didn't think I would be saying coming out of this one, and then also a recreation of Doom in first person. The passion is clear though, and it has paid off. Problems wise, not a huge amount honestly, outside of the occasional level that misses. There's like an arch nemesis in here, Dr. Dryspell, who's good for the story, but his levels, especially almost like boss moments, they're a little bit weak. There's turrets you need to avoid and so on. More annoying than anything, and just occasionally then some frustration might set in when the physics just go all out and it becomes a little too difficult to manage your abilities. Also, I will say a few rare moments I did notice some minor frame rate drops when things got a little too hectic on screen. That was particularly with the tornado ability. Overall though, look, I enjoyed it. Honestly, I beat it in 2 sittings. It's a pretty chill game that will keep you guessing where it will go next. And then now I want to go back. I want to complete New Game Plus. I want to complete the extra objectives. And of course, I want to face those that I missed. I also want to dig more into my cloud's home, where I can paint my own wall art. I can draw my own cloud face. And most importantly, I can accessorize with hats and good stuff like that. That all unlocks with progression. Graphically, I really liked it. At first, I wasn't too sure. The humans, they're about as low detail as they come when you're up close, and the cutscenes, pretty basic, especially to open the game, playing with like shadows to demonstrate the character telling this bedtime story. But once I got into the levels, I was really impressed. You're this cardboard cloud sitting at the top of the screen, strings and all attached, but the animations on our cloud's face pitch perfect as you cause all manner of destruction. And then the physics in game, it adds for some good humour as cars, cities, humans just basically face destruction. Locations then are varied from cities to office blocks to forests to TV stations. It just kept me on my toes with what was to come. Can't name a single moment, in fact, where a similar location stuck around for maybe a couple of levels. Then the customization, especially the face drawing, it just allows you to add your own personality. And then the cutscenes, relatively basic, mainly text boxes, but the character design, I really liked it, and I wanted to learn more about each, whether it was a grandma who needs your assistance or a big old cloud that kind of acts as your guide. Music finally, and it goes for the upbeat, whimsical affair, which I kind of expected. This genre of out there, almost physics, puzzle of adventure kind of things demands this tone. They followed the genre's conventions, and it, of course, works. It plays into the art style and the attitude of the storyline. It is a little bit repetitive, honestly. At times I was hoping for a little bit more variety, just more on like a track count. It seems like there's very few tracks in here that just kind of loop, but what we do get is decent, even if I'm not about to go listen to it, offline. Sound effects then, not a huge amount here, a few weather effects, some explosions, humans kind of screaming occasionally. It's basically the minimum of what you would expect and marks some sort of connection with the world. Would it have benefited from more? I actually do think so. Some cool environments here could have really been built out, but I also admit I can see why they kind of kept things simple here as well. It definitely keeps in with the tone of the genre. So the final verdict on Rain on Your Parade is pretty much exactly what I expected. A puzzle adventure, I guess, would probably be the best description, where you face increasingly just bizarre scenarios and get to work as a cloud. It sits alongside the more unusual games out there like your Donut County and your Untitled Goose Game, but I'm happy to say it can absolutely stand alongside them as another example of creativity that for the most part absolutely works. Like I said though, for the most part, what pulls it down, the occasional moment of frustration with controls and the occasional level that just kind of misses, honestly. It just doesn't quite seem to fit the tone of the game. But honestly, I had a great time with this one, and at a relatively budget price point, I am happy to get behind it. In fact, I'm kind of hoping now to see it get a physical release, because I think it absolutely deserves it. A great 8 out of 10 from me. It won't challenge you, but it will keep you coming back, and for the most part, you'll absolutely have a smile just slapped across your face, and sometimes, let's face it, that is all you need. Will you be adding this one to the library though, or wishlist, or is this one just not for you? I know this style of gameplay, weird for the kind of sake of being weird almost, isn't going to be for everyone. With that though, a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. It helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. Now if you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.